ActionSA says it has informed, or has been informed, that the February 2016 Lily Mine matter has been set for a hearing for May the 10th in the Supreme Court of Appeal. The party says despite the protracted and obscene litigation by Vantage Goldfields, it has obtained a victory in the quest for justice for trapped miners. Yvonne Mnisi, Nkambule and Solomon Nyirenda, ActionSA leader Herman Mashaba joins us now live from KwaZulu-Natal, where he'll be attending a rather important by-election. But this, of course, a matter that has been rather important to you as well, and in starting ActionSA and the work that you have been doing. Good evening, and thank you very much for coming on tonight. Why is the May 10th date so important for you? We know that in December 2022, it was a big win for the Nkambule mining company, as far as them being recognized as key creditors. But of course, the whole question is whether or not they have voting powers when it comes to this business rescue plan. So I suppose that's what will be decided on May the 10th. But why is this important for ActionSA?
Well, thank you very much, first of all, Thabo and Newzroom Afrika, for really showing interest in this very important set incident for South Africa to really come out of the new dispensation, where 3 of our fellow South Africans vanished in the belly of the earth on the 5th of February 2016. And the families, now over 7 years, they've been unable to really find justice and closure. As you're aware, the families of the 3 miners and some of the former miners, Thabo, they've been camping now over 5 years under really very difficult conditions, and the reason why it's almost impossible for anyone to advise them to really go and start their new lives, because unfortunately their matter they've got unfinished business. So it is really of major concern why we are saying we are at least making progress. You can imagine if ActionSA did not intervene in this particular matter, those families would really be today forgotten by South Africa and people of the world. So I think our attempts, our fight is actually definitely going to one day yield results where that container will be retrieved, so that the families, the 3 families, can then also really be given an opportunity to bury their loved ones with dignity and find closure and go and continue with their normal lives, which they've been deprived of for the last 5 years. And the South African government, the ANC government, being directly responsible for actually blocking this matter from being finalized. So we hope the Supreme Court of Appeal on the 10th, because already they've already made an announcement in December that this matter must be treated as serious. So we've got 5 judges who are going to be sitting on this matter, and I really hope and I pray that the judges must, in their consideration, actually think about the plight of the families, instead of the shareholders and business owners being the ones actually concerned about their money and their financial consideration. Give these families closure and justice.
Yeah. What would be that outcome for you? I mean, you've got Vantage Goldfields South Africa wanting to put forward their proposal. You've got Nkambule who are making an offer here saying their proposal will see the creditors getting paid, to see the rescue mission being restarted, and 3, the start of the redevelopment of the mine. So saving jobs, paying creditors, but most importantly, the issue that you're raising, the rescue mission.
Well, I think our interest as ActionSA and the families, we don't really care who ultimately takes ownership of this mine. But if you look at the proposals on the table, so far, Nkambule is the only party that, only organization that has come out with a proposal with a condition to retrieve the container. The container, as you are aware, Thabo, the current owners, there's Vantage Capital, including the Department of Minerals and Energy, and the South African government once lied to us that that container cannot be retrieved. So here's a company that's offering to buy this mine, and part of what they're committing to do is the retrieval of that container. So what, unfortunately, Vantage Capital is doing with the support of the South African government is to really block the process. And what we find quite disturbing, and I think it's an insult to people of this country. As you're aware, Thabo, after 1994, the South African government took away and took ownership of mining license to regulate the abuse of the mineral rights in this country, and ensure that where there's unfairness, that the government must be able to intervene. This is the only case where the South African government is abdicating their responsibility, because it's only 3 black people who went down the belly of the earth, and they are saying it is not their matter. Thabo, this matter has got everything to do with the president, with our parliament, with the Department of Minerals and Energy and so on. Why they are abdicating their responsibility, absorbing themselves from this, it's actually quite sad, because obviously it's 3 black people, so it doesn't really matter. If they did not really have us fighting for them, we would not really be having this discussion. They would have been forgotten. But one thing that from the minute I was this matter was brought to my attention, long before ActionSA was formed, and I went down, and when I got to understand what was happening, I took this matter personally, and I want to assure the South African government, particularly the ANC government, to really know that one day they're going to be held accountable, directly accountable, for really subjecting these families to this trauma over the last 7 years.
Yeah. So you're saying you have no absolute interest in what happens to the mines, whether both mines open or whether jobs are resuscitated. But what is key for you is this bottom line of the rescue mission. And so far, you're not getting that kind of commitment as far as the proposal from Vantage Goldfields is concerned. In this new plan, because the court said they need to go and come up with a new plan, do you have any confidence that that is going to be part of what they propose? And are you going to be having any input whatsoever?
Look, I think that this is the matter that's going to put us between Vantage Capital, the BRP, and the other business that wants to buy this mine. So, unfortunately, now you have shareholders, you have people interested in buying this mine. You've got the government of the Republic of South Africa. So I think really for us as ActionSA and the families is to see these matters being put aside and focus on the retrieval of this container, because it has been proven that this container can be retrieved. So whoever is going to ultimately own this mine, it's not of interest to us. But one thing that is giving us the relief is to be aware that there's a company, that is actually interested in buying this mine. They have proven that they have the necessary funds to buy this mine. Unfortunately, the previous owners, that is Vantage Capital, is the one that's making life difficult for them. And that's what we want the courts to really make the determination to put their issues aside and focus on the retrieval of this container. If the shareholders and the new owners wants to have their own fight, let the government on their own make arrangements for this container to be retrieved, because it has been proven that that container can be retrieved. So we cannot accept the fact that the government can subject families. Firstly, it's now 7 years that these 3 family members have vanished. Now, the families, as you are aware, Thabo, they have been camping outside the mine for the last 5 years, and I'm sure you are aware of their living conditions. And there's no way anyone can ever ask them to really go back to their homes and start their normal lives again, because they're not prepared to live without having their loved ones to take home to go and give them the proper burial. Some of their family members, there's one young bright chap, who was at University of Johannesburg, had to leave school. One of the ladies, when she died, the child was still a few months old. Now today, she keeps asking the grandmother and family members where her mom is. And these are things that, as a human being, as a government that claims to care about the plight of its citizens, I think, honestly, I feel personally so disappointed by the South African government as far as this matter is concerned.
Herman Mashaba, appreciate your time. Thanks so much for coming on tonight. That's the leader of ActionSA, Herman Mashaba there, responding, of course, to the latest circular that they've received, that the matter pertaining to the business rescue processes of Lily Mine will now be heard in the Supreme Court on May the 10th.